Hi, my name is Joshua Hill, and I want to explain exactly why it's so important that you vote for Bernie Sanders in this election. But in order to explain why it's so important that you vote for Bernie Sanders, you first need to understand what it is that makes our system so broken in the first place. The corruptive influence of money in politics has perverted our political system and it has allowed a handful of millionaires and billionaires and special interest groups to essentially buy out our politicians and our political process. And shape policies that benefit them and screw over the poor and middle class. Bernie Sanders is the only candidate advocating for a 28th Amendment to remove the corruptive influence of money from politics and create publicly funded free and fair elections. In fact, he goes as far to say that he has a vetting process for any Supreme Court nominee that says their first priority must be overturning Citizens United and getting money out of politics, or they're not even in the running. I want to say a few things about the broken system so you understand why money in politics is such a big issue and why it's my number one issue. Think about it like this. Let's say you want to win on an issue, you want to fight against climate change, for example. Well, now you have to outspend oil and gas companies. Let's say you want to win on healthcare reform. Well, now you have to outspend pharmaceutical companies and private insurance companies. Let's say you want to win on marijuana legalization. Well, now you'll have to outspend alcohol companies and pharmaceutical companies. In order to get proper criminal reform, crime reform, you'd have to outspend private prisons. So, I mean, it doesn't matter what issue it is. No matter what issue it is, it always comes down to money in politics, and it comes down to essentially a ruling class with more money always winning on an issue because they have more money. And even when you win on an issue, it still comes down to money in politics. For example, we won on gay rights. We won on gay rights because the gay community had a lot of money, they had a lot of influence, and there wasn't really any money to the opposition. Which I'm happy we won on that issue, but at the same time, we only won because we had more money in politics. And when you can only win based on which side has more money, that is not a democracy, that is an oligarchy. In fact, there was a Princeton study done, I think it was, they looked over a 20-year time period, something like that, that actually showed for a fact we do not live in a democracy. In fact, we live in an oligarchy. When you have a ruling class like that, you essentially don't have any power among the American citizens, and power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. I'm probably butchering that statement. Feel free to look it up yourselves. But other candidates like Hillary Clinton have been pushed into talking about money in politics, but I've only seen her go as far as saying she wants to get dark money out of politics, which is essentially pulling back the curtain and allowing us to watch the legalized bribery. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in getting money out of politics, and there's only one candidate advocating for that, Bernie fucking Sanders.